G'day again, guys, and thank you for joining me. So, the world's gone a little crazy right now, hey? This virus has us all sitting at home going slowly stir crazy. So, I thought this might be a good time to tell you the story of how I started using my colour pencils. Now, I've told this story before, and look, I'll probably tell it again, but I thought there's a message in this that could really be helpful for all of us that are stuck at home and slowly going bored out of your minds. So, the story starts with me being that kid who always liked to draw. I was always that kid in class that had the pencil in my hand, that was always drawing all over all of my books or practically any available surface with any available utensil. And as I grew up, I always had a range of graphite pencils close at hand. My parents were extremely supportive of my interest in art. My father was a very talented artist himself, and he'd give me all kinds of hints and advice. And my mother did indulge me a little bit with trips to the arts and crafts store, and I had all kinds of opportunities to play with many different kinds of mediums, and I got to have a chance to make all kinds of messes in the process. But I never did have the same enjoyment or have the same kind of success that I had with good old-fashioned graphite and charcoal. I figured that this was just the way my brain worked. I just didn't get working with colour, and I repeated that line to myself and to many other people out loud countless times over and over the years. I told myself that yes, I can draw and shade, but I just don't get colour. As the years progressed, life got busy. Work and kids and all of that stuff built up, leaving me not much time to draw. I always had a bucket of art supplies nearby, but I honestly didn't get that much chance to get anything done. It just wasn't a priority, you know. But then my husband and I made a huge change in our lives. We packed up everything we owned into a storage unit and we moved halfway across the country. We took our 5 kids and a dog and took only what would fit in 2 cars. Planning to move into the new place we had organised and then have a moving truck bring all of our belongings along within the next couple of days. This did not go to plan. What came next was a series of absolute disasters, which saw the house that we were planning to move into accidentally leased to someone else. Accidentally my ass, but that's another matter. We ended up having to move into holiday accommodation, which sucked up thousands and thousands of dollars as we searched for another rental property. Oh my God, you would not believe how much money we hemorrhaged over these few weeks. It was crazy. So much so that when we finally settled into a new house, we could no longer actually afford to hire those removalists to move our furniture. So here we were, new town, halfway across the country, no friends to rely on, and 5 kids stuck in a house with no toys, no TV, no internet, and very little money. How on earth were we going to stay sane in these moments? I ended up going to a local dollar store and I picked up some things to keep the kids occupied. Little things like cards, little knockoff Barbie dolls, crafty things like, do you remember those loom bands? Look, a few little bits and pieces and a couple of packs of colour pencils that I found for 50 cents each at the front of the local news agency. And you know what? It worked. The kids had fun. We must have spent hours and hours playing Uno, and we really did get to spend some really good quality time together as a family. But eventually the kids went on to their new schools, and there I was between 9 and 3, very much alone, only with my phone with very limited data, and nothing to do but really have a few kids' toys around the place for entertainment. So, of course, I picked up those 50-cent pencils and I doodled. Nothing intentional, literally just empty-minded doodling, just picking up colours and swirling them together on a piece of paper. And then it happened. This little apple appeared on my page. Now, there's nothing particularly special about this little doodle. It's certainly not a good drawing. But this is where it all clicked into place. As I mindlessly layered pencil over pencil, I noticed the colours blending together slightly on the page as I worked. It wasn't a lot, but those colours of those 50-cent pencils did blend together, and it was like a lightning bolt to my brain. Aha! Using colour isn't about picking the perfect colour and putting it in the right place. It's about blending these colours together until I have the right colour in the right place. Oh my God. Like, nerve cells exploded into life. New connections formed. It was just so freaking suddenly obvious. And with this sudden wave of knowledge came this wall of inspiration. I have to do more of this. I dug into our very meagre budget and I bought a $17 pack of Montmartre colour pencils. And I drew. Badly, mind you, I had nothing to use as reference, but I drew, testing out each time what I could do to blend these colours together on the page. A very, very dear friend of mine and a previous customer offered to buy one of these drawings for, honestly, an amount of money that I still feel guilty for accepting. So I raced out with that money and I bought a $100 set of Derwent Artist colour pencils, and I kept drawing, pieces upon pieces. And then finally we got the internet connected at our new home. And that's when I found YouTube. Now, honestly, at this point, I wasn't much of a YouTube viewer, but, and honestly, that feels really weird saying now, but at this time, I looked up every how to draw, how to paint tutorial I could find, and I kept drawing all kinds of images, always aiming to push myself to learn something new about all of these wonderful colours that I now had in my hands. From other artists, I learnt that I could use solvents to blend my pencils together, and oh my, how that saved my poor joints from grinding away by burnishing those pencils. I learned about different papers to experiment with, and I learned about those Polychromos pencils that I had to buy 2 pencils at a time since we still had very, very little money. Of course, by now we had our furniture, our TV, everything had been moved into our new place. But the passion that I had discovered when everything else had been taken away remained. Now, that time that I would have wasted in front of the TV was spent working on a new drawing. My poor time-wasting Sims game lay dormant in my PC while I worked on new art. Honestly, I do wonder about how my poor Sims are going locked in that computer forever. I hope they're okay. Look, honestly, I had been wasting hours of my life on meaningless tasks that I was now filling with learning about colour. Look, and maybe I take this a little too far these days. Honestly, I'd rather be drawing and making videos for you guys than doing the dishes. And sometimes that's exactly what I do, but I have learnt that the dishes will always wait for me. But the point is, when I had nothing else to do, I found what was most important for me to do. I know times are hard for people now. You're either locked in at home, maybe you're worried about jobs and money, maybe you're just bored silly. But this too could be a breakthrough moment for you. Maybe you love art, but you've never had a chance to do it for yourself. Now is the time to dust off those supplies and see what you can do. Maybe you've been dragging around a guitar that you've had since you were 18 and you've barely had a chance to play. Maybe it's time to write that story. Start that scrapbook. Learn to knit. Maybe with the chaos of this virus, with all of the normal clutter of our lives stripped away, you might just find a chance to find your own passion, and it just might change your life for the better. And I hope so. Something good has to come from this. Now, the drawing I've been working on in the background today is a falcon that I have had saved on my PC for years. It's from wildlifereferencephotos.com. I truly intended to work on this in graphite many, many years ago, but of course, now I love my colours too much. I really love how this one turned out, and I'm really glad I waited to do it. Now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and are safe and well at home. This has been a little bit of a personal story, but I would love to hear some of your stories about how you came across colour pencils or art in general. But for now, I am going to get started on a new piece. So if you'd like to see that, then why not hit that subscribe button? And I will see you guys again very soon. Bye guys.